I wanted to give you guys a bit of a walkthrough of what my system is here, and what you're seeing. It's kind of been iterated over some bumps and bruises and hard lessons. But let me walk you through display by display what my setup is. So I'm going to start top left and work my way around. So starting here, these two displays, these two that you see the color bars on, these are running off one computer. Um, this display is just a control display. This display is passing through an HDMI signal down to my ATEM over here. So that is, this input on the ATEM is mirroring what I see up here. Then working down the side, I have this big display in the center and this one. These three displays make up one computer here. This is my main switching computer that I use. So I'll have, this is where I'll be running Wirecast or any other live stream switching software, as well as, having chat windows up and screen capture, things like that. So a big main display for whatever I'm working on, secondary 1080p display that is isolated. It's not connected to the ATEM in any way. It's just an output display for me. But it is useful to do screen captures because it's a true 16:9, whereas this display is not 16:9. So I don't want to do a screen capture of this whole display because it's too tall. So if I'm going to do screen capture, that's what this display does for me. The third display I have down here is an old Atomos Ninja recorder. I put, this is one of my inputs into here. That's input 2. You can see, kind of see it's the same image. So again, on this display, I will put one of my Zoom talking heads. I'll also use this as an isolated Zoom recording. So if I want to cut back to the native audio inside Zoom without any of my additional stuff, that's what this file gives me. It also gives me a clean camera shot of whomever, so I can make it active speaker. I can pin somebody I want. I'll adjust that based on what the show looks like in that specific run of show. This display right here is my ATEM multi-view. It's just a little LCD panel to give me my ATEM display coming off of here. This display over here on the bottom, this is one of my inputs to the ATEM. So that's input 3 here is, I can drag you guys up there. So that's on my ATEM. Let's see there. Oh, it's giving me some trouble. There we go. So again, I have the laptop display here as just a control display, so I can have things that aren't part of my field of view, the active speaker view, whatever, something else here that I don't want to see, and then I've got one display that is input here. This display, the second display from the laptop, is only visible inside the ATEM. So I usually preset that before the show, and then I won't mess with it after that point because I don't have, like this display, I don't have visibility into what it looks like full time. Same thing can be said about this display up here. This display is connected to a Mac Mini underneath the desk, and again, this is the control display, and the second display is in my ATEM. So if you see, if I go over to this computer and I drag that out, you can see that's coming off of the ATEM, or coming off of the Mac into the ATEM. Again, same situation as the laptop. I have a control display, and the external display is only visible inside the ATEM. So I see it in my multi-view at all times. I'll usually be living on the multi-view. If I do need to look at that display to tweak it, I can change my multi-view output on the ATEM to be an aux out and just directly switch any display. So I could, right now, it's on display 3, so it's the second display off of this laptop. Or display 4, the second display off of that Mac Mini. So this gives me 4 sources to pull from at all times. I'll use 1 or 2 of those as a pinned host. People I know are going to be my on-camera hosts if it's already predetermined. And then the third is usually an active speaker view, or maybe one I will alternate the pinning on. And I'll often do that on this computer here because I have a display to view full time, so I don't have to dig into my ATEM and I don't have to touch the ATEM to view this display and potentially hit the wrong button and fade to black or something, because we don't want to do any of that. So I'll try and do that on this computer. This is the one I'm going to change the pinned speaker on the most, will be this combination up here. And then the fourth input will be a graphics op. So if we look at the Mac Pro or Mac Mini here is acting as my graphics op. Let me just get a mouse over there. And if I play my slide deck, so you can see 4 is now my PowerPoint output, and I have graphics there. You can also see how I'm using these for a picture-in-picture. It's kind of hard to see maybe in your GoPro shot, but let me get you on that. If you look at my preview window here, it's a little bit easier to see. I'm using a combination of the ATEM input and then a screen capture down here to get a picture-in-picture effect. So the screen capture is coming from a portion of my display, my third display down here. So I would have a talking head pinned on that display there. Let's just throw something on that so you can kind of get an idea. Let's throw my audio mixer down there so you can see my audio. I'd have a Zoom talking head right there. That's kind of my switching setup. The last portion that I haven't explained yet is this display up here. This is a Blackmagic Video Assist monitor recorder. It will give me, it's both a monitor and a recorder. It's a ProRes recorder. I have, coming out of Wirecast, a Blackmagic Thunderbolt Mini monitor device that is sending a program feed out of Wirecast. So here, I'll turn that on now. Ultra Studio Mini monitor, I'm sending a 1080 2997. And so you can see here, so now this display shows me a clean program view. It's not connected to anything else. It gives me a clean audio for my program, so I can monitor exactly what program is hearing. And then it'll give me a ProRes recording there, so I don't have to rely on recording inside Wirecast and tying up resources doing that. So that's kind of a walkthrough of what my current system looks like. Even if it is it's a little big, a little unruly, and it's probably not how I would have done this in a studio environment or in the real world. It's kind of way too much for one person, but it's really functional. It does a lot. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show everybody.